Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Canberra Bushfires, 18th of January 2003. This will be a little explainer video. I really don't know much about them. This picture is horrifying, terrifying, and I knew that the Red Hot Chili Peppers song Black Summer was about bushfires in Australia, but I didn't know the specific event or date or any specificity around it. If you don't know the song, it's the one, "A lazy rain am I, the skies refuse to cry, cremation takes its piece of your supply, the sky is just like noon, sailor spoke too soon, China's..." Anyways, good song. Very sad situation. Let's get into it.
The Australian Capital Territory, ACT, experienced the most destructive
Australian
bushfires
Capital
in
Territory,
its history
ACT.
on the 18th of January 2003. 4 people were killed, hundreds were injured.
I thought there would have
and
been more people killed. Like,
510
that's
buildings
awful,
were
but
destroyed. Several major bushfires have occurred in the ACT.
it really looks
over
apocalyptic,
the last
doesn't it?
century, during the hot and dry summer months. The majority have been caused by lightning strikes in the Brindabella Ranges that border the ACT on the west. Australia was experiencing one of the worst droughts on record in 2002. The ACT experienced record high temperatures and critically low rainfall and humidity. These weather conditions, combined with tinder-dry vegetation, created a high fire risk throughout the territory. A dry lightning storm ignited 3 fires in the ACT's Namadgi National Park, Bendora, Stockyard Spur and Mount Gingerra, and one in New South Wales adjoining
And I've been very lucky. I've never been evacuated due to a wildfire or anything like that. I've never had any experience even being close to one. My parents did have to get stopped on the highway throughout the last summer in British Columbia, in the interior of British Columbia, where there were some really bad forest fires going on. And the interior of British Columbia specifically has had some pretty horrific forest fires lately where they've had to evacuate tons of people. So that's a terrifying thought, man. And it's only going to get worse.
Brindabella National Park on the 8th of January, called McIntyre's Hut Fire. Despite suppression efforts and relatively mild weather, the fires grew out of control, eventually combining to form the firestorm that hit Canberra 10 days later. The ACT Government's Emergency Services Bureau, ESB, declared a 5-day total fire ban on the 17th of January. The weather worsened with strong winds, high temperatures, and low humidity. By the evening, the fires at McIntyre's Hut, Bendora, and Stockyard Spur had breached containment lines and were spotting for several kilometres ahead. Spot fires were threatening the Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve and were only 2 kilometres from the Uriara Pine Plantation, which itself is only 12 kilometres from Canberra's outer suburbs. The McIntyre's Hut fire crossed the border into the ACT on the morning of January 18. It had arrived in the Uriara Pine Plantation by midday. The temperatures reached 37 degrees Celsius, with westerly winds gusting to 55 kilometers.
37 degrees Celsius, which is extremely hot. And can you imagine combining the smoke with that? I have had a few situations in my life where we've had the smoke billowing and coming down through the atmosphere and through the skies and coming down geographically into our area, and you going outside, you can't see across the street because the smoke is so thick you can't breathe, and they put out announcements and put out warnings that you should stay in your house, and it's just horrifying. You go outside and you're trying to breathe and it's terrible. These fires weren't near my city, but I still felt the effects. This is just terrifying. They lost 4 people, hundreds injured. I can't imagine how many animals passed away. It's very, very sad.
Now, the McIntyre's Hut fire had crossed the Murrumbidgee River by 2:30 p.m, starting a spot fire in the Stromlo Pine Plantation west of the Mount Stromlo Observatory. The first public emergency warning was issued around 2:40 p.m, with the Western Creek suburbs of Duffy, Rivette, Chapman and Holder being most vulnerable. At 2:45 p.m, the fire raced up Mount Stromlo's western slopes before merging with the Bendora fire. The ACT Chief Minister, John Stanhope, declared a state of emergency at 2:45 p.m. The firestorm hit the Duffy suburb about 15 minutes later. It wreaked havoc on homes in Holder, Western, Chapman, Rivette and Canberra over the next few hours.
It's so eerie, right? It looks like hell. It looks apocalyptic.
I have flame height probably over 100 feet on Warragamba Drive, impacting houses over.
I can't imagine what these first responders go through. Being somebody who works in that industry of first responders, that's terrifying.
Three is on site. West Canberra 20 on Warragamba.
Comsand, we've lost total visibility. Stand by.
Oh my God.
I've got numerous houses alive here. Get me some more help, please.
Bravo 1-1.
Okay, red message from the house.
It's spectacular footage. Spectacular and terrifying footage.
I'm still operational. Get me out here. Comsand, 2 houses alive. Comsand, 3 houses alive.
And going through events like this, man, it's not easy to comprehend it after the fact. It's not easy to process it and decompress. And they'll try to debrief you, and there is resources available to try to combat any PTSD and things like that. But, oh man, this is a critical incident on steroids. Like, it's just crazy. And this guy's going through it. And who's ever filming, they captured some amazing footage. But man, this is just insane.
We have 31 fire.
Very well done video. I enjoyed that a lot. It is a stark reminder of the dangers of forest fires and how, regardless of your thoughts on climate change and all of that, because those issues get politicized so much, and it's really annoying when it should just be a focus on, okay, how can we mitigate the horrifying effects of these events? Not like, there's no, like they all start fighting about it. But yeah, that Red Hot Chili Peppers song is going to hit harder now. I'll do a rendition again. A lazy rain am I, the skies refuse to cry. Cremation takes its piece of your supply. The night is dressed like noon. A sailor spoke too soon. And China's on the dark side of the moon. Hit me now. Very sad, man. Platypus are few, the secret life of Rue, a personality I never knew. My Greta weighs a ton, the arch is on the run, and no one stands alone behind the sun. Yeah, and like I said, working as a first responder, sticks with you, man. All right. See you on the next one, peeps.